Welcome to another edition of NFM TV. I'm Greg Scher, joined now by Jeff Reinhardt. He's a CPA and shareholder of KBST&M. It's a powerhouse accounting firm out of Baltimore that was founded in 1985. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Greg, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and there are a lot of items on the table to hash through right now that affect the mortgage industry. Let's start with the mortgage tax reduction or tax deduction. Tell us what that looks like.
Well, Greg, there's a lot of difference between the two bills. The House bill wants to limit the amount of home mortgage interest you can deduct on your primary home. Currently, if you have up to $1 million mortgage, you can deduct that interest. The House bill wants to move that down to $500,000, pretty big drop. The Senate bill really left that alone and also left the provision that you can also deduct mortgage interest against a second home. And so the Senate bill is much more closer to what we have current law.
All right, so you mentioned second mortgages. Let's talk about lines of credit, because I understand they're in the line of fire right now. Tell us.
That is correct, Greg. Both chambers, both bills that came out are going to eliminate the deduction for home mortgage interest relative to a home equity line of credit or a home equity line from availability to be deducted at all.
All right. What about real estate taxes? Currently, people can enjoy writing them off. Is that going to be limited moving forward?
Looks like it will, Greg. One bill basically eliminated it completely, and another, the other bill has some caps on it, like $5,000 for single taxpayers and $10,000 for married taxpayers. So again, we'll see what compromise is made.
Boy, it's not sounding too positive so far. Capital gains.
Yes.
That's also on the table. Tell us why.
Yeah, the good news there is that since the late 90s, we've enjoyed pretty much the vast majority of Americans do not pay a capital gains tax if they happen to profit from the sale of their primary home. Current law is that as long as it was your primary home for 2 out of the previous 5 years, that you could have a gain up to $500,000 as a married taxpayer and not have to pay a capital gains tax. Basically, that has kept the same. There is a provision that it's possible that they want to move that. It has to be 5 out of the previous 8 years.
Okay. And then the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, came out with some alarming feelings regarding the possible legislation. They feel like if the bill passes, that home values could plummet as much as 10%. Can you walk the audience through why that would be?
Well, Greg, as we just discussed, unfortunately, there is a lot of provisions here of reducing deductions coupled with reducing tax rates that kind of put home mortgage and property deductions in the line of fire, as you said earlier. So the real estate market, as you know, a lot of people buy the idea that they're able to make these deductions and reduce their taxes. It looks like that could be reduced and could affect then how people view and purchase homes.
Yeah, so not really a lot of positive things coming out of this for the mortgage industry. Is that safe to say?
Safe to say that there's a lot more negatives there than positives.
All right. And then lastly, can you tell us when the final bill will be enacted potentially? Is there a time frame, a deadline for the conference committee to get it done?
Well, there's really no deadline, hard deadline, other than we know that the Republicans want to get this conference bill together and to President Trump for signature before they break for the Christmas holiday.
All right, and you've made a promise to us at NFM TV that after legislation is enacted, you will come back and tell us what's in the bill.
Absolutely, I promise.
All right, we appreciate that, Scout's Honor. That's Jeff Reinhardt. He's a CPA and shareholder at KBST&M. It's an accounting firm out of Baltimore. We've placed his email address below his name, so if you have any further questions or want to talk to him about this issue or others, you can feel free to reach out to him. Thanks again. I'm Greg Scher. You've watched another edition of NFM TV. We'll see you next time.